Hey there, and welcome to That's Audacious, where we share entrepreneurial stories from amazing leaders to inspire and motivate you to be bold, brave, and audacious. I'm your host, Lauren Clement, the brand navigator, here to share stories that make you say, well, that's audacious. Carolyn, it's awesome to have you here with us today. Thank you so much for joining us. I am really looking forward to our chat today. I watch you with avid interest and all the things you get up to and your journey and your fitness and what you're doing. And I'm in awe of the things you are doing. So I'm really, really excited to talk to you today. Carolyn, we're going to start off by just getting you to introduce yourself, let the listeners know who you are and what you do and how you got started.
Okay, thank you, Lauren. And I'm a little bit in awe of you this week anyway, as well. Amazing effort. So, yes, I'm Caroline Bellenger. I am a life coach, a gym owner, wellness warrior, athlete, author, and business coach. So,
you're amazing.
All in one. I'm like the package. Essentially, though, everything I do revolves around wellness and building people up to believe in themselves. How I got started, the short version, because I'm 53 now, so there's a lot of let's get started stuff along the way. But essentially, my story is about being a victim of childhood sexual abuse, which then led to 20 years of addiction, mental illness, suicide attempts, and unhealthy relationships. There were good times in there as well. I always like to add that because, we wouldn't continue for 20 years doing that if there wasn't other good stuff that was happening. I finally got sober when I was 40, so 13 years ago. And since then, I went into corporate. I had some great jobs, but then with my own mental illness, because getting sober doesn't take away your mental illness. It certainly helps, and I would highly recommend it. One of the best decisions I've ever made. But it's certainly, you still need to do a lot of work on mental health. So that's when I got back into exercise. I say got back into because as a child growing up, I played basketball, hockey, netball, swam, did all the usual, sporty activity kid things, went to the gym, that sort of stuff. Never did aerobics because I was really uncoordinated. Still am. So from that grew my gym business. So I left corporate to get into the gym business. I then realised that I was quite opposed to much of the fitness industry when it comes to body image and dieting and stuff that I found to be unhealthy from a mental health, emotional perspective. So that's when I started my journey of more life coaching and trying to find that holistic balance where exercise can be fun and exciting. So that was sort of where that was born, and then went on to do triathlons as part of my own journey, and mental health. And that's sort of me now. I do that, and I've written a couple of co-author books and things like that.
What a journey. It's just extraordinary. I love hearing your story, Caroline. You've just achieved amazing things. We will talk about going back to you when you were younger and asking you those questions, what would you tell yourself? We'll do that in a minute. But you mention a lot of your branding and the way that you position yourself as a leader in business is around mental health. And obviously your background and your story has led a lot to that. What is it about the fitness industry, do you think, that they have really ignored that side of things for so long, and all of a sudden, I think it's suddenly, but obviously you've seen it for a long time, people are starting to talk about this holistic approach to wellness. It's not just about smashing yourself in the gym. It really is about sustaining and looking after yourself. What's shifted that?
Look, I'd say, and like everything in life, there's always lots of factors involved. And I think essentially, gyms were mostly a place where people who wanted to aspire to have their bodies looking a certain way went. And they were mostly younger. And that was when I used to go to the gym in my 20s. I never saw anyone over 30 at the gym. And same, in my journey with running events and triathlons, the age group 40 to 45 onwards used to get like 5 competitors. Now they're like 10 years later, they're the most competitive age groups in the whole scenario. I sometimes go, oh, I want to race against the 18-year-old boys because it'll be easier because of amazing women. So I think women have changed it a lot, because a lot of women are trying to stay healthier and active now, whereas that was never seen as a domain of women, to be in the gym. But women also have that capacity to go, you know, we're reasonably emotional beings. So we know that our health and wealth and wellness and everything involves around our emotional state. So I think it's sort of gone from that industry where it was very aesthetic orientated to this journey of being healthy and fit and active and just looking good, or, you know, and if you're a mum or a thing and you've got to be on a diet, like, and you've got a family to feed, it's just not going to last anyway. So, you know, like, I think many women just got jack of it and just went, I'm out. Either you fix it or I'm out. And so I think the industry has had to evolve because of the pressure on it to be better.
Yeah, that's sustainability. And it is, I love what you're saying, it's not just about appearances, is it? It's not it's how you feel. And the appearances is like the extra benefit, that you look good and you fit your clothes and you can run around with your grandchildren and all that sort of stuff. Those are all extra benefits, but the real benefit is how you feel about yourself.
Yep, definitely. And that's, you know, and that's what I'm passionate about, that self-esteem. Especially, you know, I work a lot with older women who have lost a lot of that. Now, whether that's childhood trauma or other experiences throughout their life, you know, and being a mum and being labelled this and not necessarily having the opportunities that, you know, I think a lot of women these days are getting at a younger age, you know, through advocacy. But, yeah, we're very well aware that we want more in a holistic way. And, yeah, we want to look awesome, and that's cool. But do you know what? And, you know, we could get into the whole beauty industry on that one. Ultimately, if we don't like ourselves, you know what? We're never actually going to look good enough. Ever.
That's a good point, isn't it? If if you're never happy with the person that you are, nothing is going to change that.
No, nothing fixes that. Nothing on the outside. You know, and I do that in my life coaching, you know, whether it's career, relationships, anything. I said, you're not going to be happy with anything if you're not happy with yourself.
That's such a good point. And if you are listening to this today, that's a good starting point, isn't it, Carolyn, to go, okay, what do I want to be? What's the person I need to be for myself? Now, Carolyn, the fitness industry that you've gotten yourself into was absolutely smashed by COVID.
Yes.
And that's been a huge challenge. But I know you were you felt a bit isolated anyway before that as a business owner, because you're a single mum and you're doing this all on your own. What was that like as a challenge to start a business just off your own bat and to have yourself as your own, you know, best supporting crew? How did you do that?
It helped that at the time my corporate job was so toxic that I was on my knees, mental health. And I'd been, obviously, I'm trying to think, like years-wise, I'd probably been sober 8 years, and I'd done a lot of work on my mental health, and it brought me to my knees. So at the time, probably being a sole owner of a gym seemed easier than what I was going through. So I guess in a lot of things in life, I compare. I go, oh, that seems a lot easier than what I'm actually doing right now. And I followed, ultimately, when I had to make that decision, you know, of giving up a job that I had loved, good pay, stability, to, you know, become a personal trainer, gym owner, there was definitely a lot of doubt. And it did come down to ultimately what is going to make me happy. What ultimately is going to bring joy to my life. And it certainly wasn't my job at the time. But yeah, it certainly, I think, the first year, I got a business coach pretty much straight away as well, which was definitely huge for me, and why I've, you know, since gone into business coaching and actually helping business owners through COVID, because I think ultimately a lot of my, like, still being open, Like, it's certainly been challenging financially, challenging emotionally. And, I'm on the border. So I had like Queensland, New South Wales, all sorts of things happening for me. My why kept me open because that was the women that came to my gym. So I did whatever I could to stay open so that even if at one stage, when the hard border came, I was like running one boot camp a week. But, that was enough to keep those women who are all facing their own struggles through COVID connected to each other and still putting, wellness at the forefront of their lives. So that was definitely, I think in life, you've got to have a big why, and you've got to have an obligation to helping someone else, because, often it's not even about ourselves. It's other people, because if it's just about ourselves, we can just sort of go, oh, not today, I'll just do that tomorrow. But where other people are relying on us and we know that what we do helps them, then we have an obligation to do whatever we can. So that sort of kept me running along. But not without its challenges, and I've had many a meltdown over it all.
I guess if your personal trainer doesn't show up, they're really not a very good personal trainer, then, are they? I mean, you've got to lead by example, haven't you? But I know you've talked a lot as well how having the right people around you, especially with mental health, let alone the accountability with fitness, is so important. How have you chosen the people that you've decided to have as your support crew, the people around you in business and in life?
Yeah, it really, it's people who make me smile. And I think, like, sometimes, like humans, I was having this conversation this morning, humans overcomplicate everything. We have that tendency, and, sure, you can have a checklist of things, but ultimately, are you around people that make you feel good? And not in a take, it's got to be mutual. There's got to be give and take. And sometimes, like, that person might annoy the hell out of you. Like, that's okay. That's normal too. But on a whole, they make you feel good. They, and challenge you. The people who can genuinely question you as well is important, because it's easy to surround yourself with yes people, but that really isn't going to be very good for your personal growth. And at some point you're going to hit a wall and not have had that support around you. And I go, like, I get to that point where I honestly don't care too much about what other people think. I'm not going to say I don't ever, because I'm human, but I push through that. And if I have to delete and block people off social media, whatever, and if I have to, like, in my own social life, if there's someone who's, every time I have an interaction with them, I walk away feeling, I will find ways to disengage, and it can be professional. It doesn't, it's not, I think some people get the wrong idea that you've got to do it in a really bitchy, I told you so type of way. And it's not. You can just find ways to disengage emotionally from people. They still might be in your life. You might have to work with them. They might be your family, for God's sake, and the wheels still have to turn, but you can emotionally disengage from them. And again, but that comes back to knowing yourself and knowing that what's right for you.
I love it. So a great tip there as well. It's have some really annoying, frustrating people in your life that push you, as long as they make you laugh.
Yes. Yeah. They've got to make you laugh
That's
at some
awesome.
point.
That's awesome. Hey, you are listening to That's Audacious podcast. We have the fabulous Carolyn Bellenger with us here today. If you want to know more about getting on the show, or if you want to hear more of these amazing interviews, please find us wherever you get your podcast from, and our YouTube channel with The Audacious Agency. Carolyn, you've achieved some amazing things in your life. I mean, just even the fact that you are here with us, given your background and your history, the fact that you're sober and healthy and helping other people and so on. What's one of the biggest achievements that you think you have managed to, you put that in the pool room and say, yep, that's one of the things I'm really proud of?
That would be, by far, my son. My proudest thing that I've ever done. I never wanted to be a mother. I, without going into details, did everything possible not to be. And he's now 20. happy, successful. And I always thought that I would make the worst mother in the world because of my history. And nothing makes me prouder than seeing him happy. And it's not even about his jobs or his work or, school. He did really well in that. But it's more that, oh my God, I've raised what I feel is a really good human that's going to contribute to the world. And like I said, that's not something I ever imagined I would be in a position to say. He's the reason I got sober. And we're still, other than the teenage years where I hated him and wanted to kill him, we're friends again now.
Nice that they evolve through that. You don't get to that point completely where you want to disown them, and then they turn into humans. It's
and they come back. If you've done the groundwork, and we have a great relationship, and I couldn't. He's a lot of my why as well. So, and I still today pinch myself that I can actually have been a great mother. I'm going to say that great. I was going to say good then. I'm like, no, I've been a great mother. And again, I think for any woman out there, pat yourself on the back. If you're a mum of any caliber, you're a great mother. Because it is by far probably one of the hardest jobs you'll ever have to do.
Yeah, and an amazing legacy, as you say, to know that you've got a happy human being out there on the planet who, is being awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So, Caroline, how did the Audacious Agency help you?
Oh, so much. So essentially, I'm one of those people who, while my social media looks like I'm vivacious and outgoing and all of that, I don't even like celebrating my birthday. I don't necessarily like talking about myself. I would rather just go and do what I need to do without any fuss. But I also recognise that I have a message that can help people. I know that what I do helps people. And that's where yourself and Annette helped me so much by putting what I do and who I am on paper and in awards and not, when I was nominated for awards, writing the awards for me, because I would have the tendency to minimise every achievement I've done. I'm getting better at that. I'm getting better at that, but to, like I said, to not be the best kept secret, as they say, you need to put yourself out there. And if you need help to do that, and with people who are qualified as well, and I loved what you ladies stand for, because I am very much around authentic people. I can't stand bullshit, as you would understand from my whole thing about the fitness industry. And I want people who walk the talk. Again, surround yourself with people who say what they do, mean what they say, and can just be themselves about it. And that was why, I was looking at marketing and that for over 12 months. And I just kept following yourself and Annette going, I feel connected. And thanks to you, I have won some amazing awards as well, which I'm incredibly humbled and grateful for. And I intend to continue on that journey for a long time.
Well, they're well deserved. I can see the Raw Award behind you there, and I know you're a finalist in the Australian Small Business Champions Awards this year. You've just done extraordinary with so many awards, and absolutely deserve every one of them. Caroline, if I could take you back to that younger version of yourself before you'd even started all of this, won all your awards, had your son, and so on, what would you like to tell yourself about life in general and maybe becoming a woman in business and doing what you've achieved? What advice would you give yourself?
Well, I would, it's the same probably message I give to my clients now. Like, you are enough. Like, don't doubt yourself. Whatever you have to give the world is exactly what is wonderful about you. And, don't compare yourself to other people, and just know that you are perfectly in your life for the perfect reasons, and that, Sometimes life sucks, and that's okay. Like, life isn't supposed to be easy. We grow more with challenges. I feel I see challenges as an opportunity to grow. So don't be scared of challenges. Be brave. My 3 sayings: be brave, take risks, and laugh lots.
Love it. Those are 3 awesome core values for your brand.
Yeah.
I just love those so much. Carolyn, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you today on the That's Audacious podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. And I wish you all the best with all of your amazing success this year and onwards and what you're doing. I love every part of your brand and what you stand for. Thank you so much for being a guest. Is there any last bits of information or tips you'd like to give listeners before we finish up?
Say yes to everything. Just say yes and work it out.
Brilliant. There you go, from the mouth of someone who has done amazing things. Just say yes. It's brilliant. Thank you so much, Carolyn. I really, really am so. It's just been wonderful to spend time with you. If you want to know more about Carolyn Bellenger, the link will be underneath the video and on the podcast as well. Please go and check her out, and her books as well that she's co-authored. Amazing woman, an amazing inspirational story for you to follow. Thank you so much, Carolyn, and it's been an absolute pleasure having you here today on the podcast.
Thank you, Lauren, and thank you for anyone who's listening. Mwah! Love you all.
Thanks so much to our audacious guests today and to everyone for listening. Remember, there's no place in business for modesty, and you deserve to be well known, well paid, and wanted. For more episodes, please subscribe to the podcast or our YouTube channel, or join us in the Rocket Launch Your Business Facebook group. The links are in the description below.